Hey folks, welcome to Kaisers Kastle. I have a special edition today, a very special edition on Kaisers Kastle today. A brother of mine, old cold warrior just like I am, just from a part of the world I served in, but working for that country's defense forces. He can talk about his own stuff. His name's Uwe. Uwe, why don't you give him a quick down and dirty on who you are, my brother?
Okay, Shafi, I do, yeah. Like you said, I'm from Western Europe, and we almost served at the same time. I was a little bit after you. You started in the mid-'80s. I was going to school in the mid-'80s, so I started in the early 90s, mid-'90s with my service, and
Yep.
Until my accident, I served 8 years, 6 years, and some military background and some intelligence background. Seen a lot, did a lot like you, and because of the situation in Europe the last few years, I decided to left Europe, and now I'm living in South America, like you know,
Yep.
and watching what is happening in this world.
Yep. So what
Yeah.
we were having an interesting conversation earlier, and he's been lucky enough to unplug for 2 months. Imagine this, in the place where he's at, somewhere in south of the border from me, and I won't answer exactly where he's at or tell anybody. It's none of their business. But he's hanging out and enjoying life as much as he can. But he was able to unplug, and he did it with purpose. And that's something I think a lot of us should do. I'm planning on doing it in August. I'm planning on unplugging the entire program, staying off the internet from August 1st till the end of August,
Very good.
and not coming back on till September. But anywho,
You will see this is hard. This is hard in the first days, James. You will see this.
it's got to be like an addiction. That's all I can think of, because my wife could attest.
Exactly. This is what. Yeah, this is. She's absolutely right, and this is a real problem for all of us. We are already addicted. We are not just addicted to sugar and to wheat. We are also addicted to this internet 24/7 online available shit.
Right. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's kind of sad. Yeah. But during that time while you're out there, you were able to read up on a bunch of books and stuff, fill the people in some of the esoteric knowledge that you came up with. And I'm telling you, folks, it's pretty wild when you unplug. That's why I got to do it, because I know I'm losing some of my sharp edge. And you do try to get your edge back, don't you there, Uwe?
Yeah, let's give a short summary of the situation. When I came there, I had some rough months here. Personal problems, business was stucking, and I was really crashed after all this, low energy and totally off track. Off track is the best description. And yeah, when I was there, a lot of nature, no people, just little internet, very, very little internet. Hard to imagine. I had one spot in my room in the house where I have signal, and when you move the phone 30 centimeters from this position, you don't have any signal. You cannot even call or get called. So it's really unplugged. And a friend of mine, he left some books in the house. Among others, about the predictions of Nostradamus and other people like him. Like the last 500, 600, 800 years, people are predicting the future, had visions, whatever. And I studied all these books, and I already had the idea that we are straight walking onto a big, big event created by bad humans or natural event, I don't know.
Right.
But it seems like we have we have the trouble we see at the moment is artificially created. This is my personal opinion. We have the cabal fuckers, which are everywhere on the planet, and they infiltrated all the governmental institutions, and they are running this planet. And at the moment, this is changing. It's not visible. The mainstream media is in panic and trying to cover with bullshit stories every day about Granny and her dog walking in the park. I don't know. But you don't see real news, not in America, not in South America, not in Europe. And me, when I was in Europe and I left Europe because of the situation, and I look back now, all came to the point I was guessing. And the situation in Germany, for example, is even worse. It takes some time from now, I guess, we see riots and maybe civil unrest and civil war in Germany, because this is not going to last very long. The Germans are sheeps, but at some point, when you fuck them too hard, sorry for the word.
No, you're fine.
Then even the Germans, lucky us. Yeah. So for me, it will happen something big in Europe. This is the reason why I left it. Beside political situation, which I cannot took any longer, I said I have to leave this situation here in the European Union, because it's like a fascist, in a negative way, fascist control situation, like dictatorship, and they control everything now, and it's getting worse and worse every day. It's a problem on the whole planet, but here the spot I have now in South America is very far away from all. And while I was plucked out in the middle of nowhere, and like I told you, it's like a long drive to the next village to see some people, to talk to someone.
Right.
And you have time to find yourself, because you are not online all the time. You don't do Facebook, you don't do WhatsApp, you don't chat here, you don't do that. You read books, you breathe, you go out, you have a walk in the nature. I personally every day went out 3 hours, because there was a spot on a lake with good internet access, just to have some email checking and to stay connected with partners, with business partners and friends. Like you,
right?
But the signal was better there. So for me, it was one hour walk to the lake from my house there, and I spent minimum 3 hours in the nature every day. And now it's winter time here, and it's getting uncomfortable with 5 to 10 degrees and strong winds in the Pampa. You have strong winds, and you have to wrap yourself very carefully. And then a 3 hour walk with 1 hour staying there. I built myself a little, I call it the mobile office place. Yeah.
Right.
I sucked off my phone battery within 35 minutes down to 20%, because the phone was trying to have signal and is very, very weak. In the end, I can say all the books I read while I was unplugged gave me a new perspective. What is going to happen? And you asked me to put this here in our little talk, and I think we are going to hit a big event soon. Maybe it's already starting this year, slowly, country by country, and we see the situation, but it's not reported. So they report about Trump. For example, they report about Trump and North and South Korea, but nobody mentioned that obviously the leader of North Korea is also very powerful, involved in a circle with the Manchu dynasty in China and the Japanese royalties. And obviously they are trying to get rid of the Rothschild, Rockefeller-dominated world. Let's put it like this.
Right.
And I did some research on this. I cannot be sure 100%, but for me, with my background, this all makes very, very good sense, and it's logic. Yeah. But the question for all of us is, what is next? What is next? Maybe you have an idea, but maybe they just replacing one control system through another. I don't know. Or we have the chance to free ourselves and get back the freedom for the people. But
That's something.
I don't know.
That's something, brother, that you bring up, and this is my opinion of it. Of course, we both know there's control groups out there that have always been there, and I know when you mention fascist groups, you're talking the deep state, the intel agencies that you've been, you know what we're talking about. And we now have a grid to where everybody knows where everybody's at and what they're doing, and yet they'll still feign ignorance if just look at what's happening in Europe right now. They're not talking about Italy leaving, about Austria leaving the EU. They're not talking about Hungary, and they're not talking about Slovakia and the other countries that are like, no, this is not what we signed up for. And they're taking their nations back. It's become very nationalistic, which is good. But you have Miss Merkel, and you and I both know her. Yeah. She's. Everybody forgets when I bring it up. Besides being a member of the FDJ, you know what that is from the old East Germans. She was also a Stasi informant, and a lot of people don't know this. You and I do. She was a physicist, an actual physicist. So she's not a dumb idiot. And she got put in.
She's not. She's a leading puppet for me. She's a leading puppet of the circles for the situation in Europe. They want to increase the riot situation all over Europe. And when the system is crashing, for example, when they crash the euro first before the dollar, you will have very quick riots in parts of Europe, including Germany and Italy, Spain, because the people are already suffering, and with they're forcing Germany and the rest of Europe into exchange migration. And my research told me about 50 million people from North Africa. They are planning to relocate to Western European countries, and this is going to blow the system, because the social system in Europe, and also the clash of the cultures, because a lot of Muslims are coming in, and we all know this. Muslims are very silent as long as they are a minority, and when they are seeing that they may become a majority or see some better position for themselves, then they are starting to take over. And for me, this is a planned situation. This is nothing accidentally, and there's absolutely nothing to do with Syria.
Right.
This is all created by these groups you just mentioned, the deep state and their friends. And this is a worldwide circle for me. And they are creating this situation because they want to crash, obviously, Europe first, and then maybe America, and then recreate something new. I don't know. But it looks like, surprisingly for me, I told you that Mr. Trump is involved in a movement against this.
Right.
So they are. I don't know if you heard about that. They have like 35,000 files for courts. They are sealed at the courts.
Yeah, sealed indictments.
And they took out just. Yeah, exactly. And yesterday I heard here, like I mentioned in Benjamin Fulford's reports, that Trump took out 300 attorneys of state around the U.S. and they are locked up. 300. So this is it. For me, it looks like there's a fight between the deep state and the presidential circle and some forces behind the curtain. This is my personal opinion on this.
No, you're exactly correct. I did a show on it, and tell me if this is not what you believe too. You and I both were ringmasters to the shit show for a lot of years, and we had a good time in Berlin. I mean, we've done some fun shit, but that's going back a couple of years. I'm sure you remember that. But the interesting thing about it to me is Trump, while we were ringmasters, he's that circus tent owner, the guy who runs it. He's that ringling brother. And while normally you have to pay your fee to get in, or you have to be there to work, right? He's said today's a free day, and what he's done is pulled back that fucking curtain, And he said, pull up all the sides, too, so everybody can look in and see what the shit show is in that three-ring circus. And they can see who's doing it.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what you're saying. It is a war between presidential authority, congressional authority, and the bureaucracy that you and I both know that we call the deep state. It's nothing more than the bureaucracy. And we've both seen it on, you know, on our own special levels. But I'm thankful for it, honestly. I'm glad that there has been a movement afoot to do this. And I'm thankful. Look, remember, this is an old adage. Me and you were drunk and talking about it while we were eating napalm hot wings. I can't remember the name of that place in East Germany. What was the name of that place, bro? That we went there?
I can give you the name. It was the Birds.
The Bird. Yeah, yeah. And drinking Schneiderweisse. And drunk like monkeys.
Exactly. The dark one. The dark one was 8%.
Yes. And we were just having a hoot. And I said, you know, the funny thing is, we're going to go through and we're going to see a polarization. This, how many, 2-3 years before we saw everything develop, we're like, we're going to see this polarization. And shit, we might have been smoking in the cigars in Old Baron, what is his name's cigar bar? Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're talking, and I'm like, we're going to see a heavy-duty division very soon, and people are going to pick sides, and they have. And I mean that globally. It's become to a pathetic point where you have to. And, well, I've got somebody typing in something, and I'll say what he's saying. Western Europe has been under the yoke, in the United States, too, of those echoing people, and the migrant invasion has been organized by the deep state to weaken Europe and eventually destroy the native populations. You're exactly correct. And that's fine. You know, we're not disagreeing with that. Only the verbiage a little bit, but you know what I'm saying, brother. Wilhelm's a good guy. I actually know who this is, so yeah, but he gets it. There is a lot of people. Yeah, in short, I know, brother. He actually gets it, and so do a lot of people. And that's the thing they didn't think about, was that I think Merkel, in her hubris, and Obama, because, you know, he was the second coming of Christ, I think they actually thought they could swarm both of our countries with all kinds of second and third world people and not cause a culture shock because of their sheer will and their popularity. What they didn't really see was that the normal, regular people would see their own displacement, and it happened too quickly. And it woke everybody to fuck up to the yoke that we've been under. And I'll let you run with that, brother.
The main prop for me was when I was in Germany, the people around me are ignoring the realities. Right. You know, they try to say, oh no, everything is fine, and I can go to my holidays, and okay, there are more black people on the street, but this is not affecting me. Right. And I said, yes, at the moment this is not affecting you. Right. This is just a question of time, and then it will affect you directly or indirectly. They may rape your daughter. They for sure will make sure that the governmental taxation is going up straight, and it's already going up in Germany. Before this all started with Mrs. Merkel in 2015, when she opened illegally the borders of Germany and up to today, they are not really controlling. You cannot imagine this. They are not controlling who's coming in.
Right.
And there's no taking. They don't take fingerprints. They don't. They do sometimes, but it's not a system which is working. Normally, you have to take everybody who's crossing a border. You have to take the fingerprints and the eyes details, whatever. Right. You can compare in a computer system. And Germany is not doing this. And I have friends in very high positions in the federal police and in the defense forces, and they told me, the prop is we have order not to do this.
Right.
Even when they want to control the border, they have order to station their patrols not directly to the border. They have to make a station behind the first or second exit. So everybody who's coming in illegally, they get a little tip. Oh, there's a control station. So they get off the Autobahn after the first exit and nothing to control. Everything is fine.
Right.
And the German media is like the American media. They're reporting only bullshit all day. And
all day.
This is public nudging. We see public nudging since Mrs. Merkel is in charge. Since she's chancellor, this is public nudging, and at the moment, for me, this is GDR 2.0.
Yeah,
what they are doing there, they give a left coverage. They say, "Oh yeah, we are world open, and we make the funny bunny, multi-culti, tralala," and this is not working. You know this, and I know this from our jobs. The culture clash is too hard, and the Christianity will lose this. And for me, it's not about religion. It's again the same game. They are using the religions. Religions, for me, personal opinion, were created to divorce, or not to divorce, to split humanity, and to fractions. And so fraction is watching the other fraction, and nobody is looking to the real enemy. And for me, the real enemy is sitting upstairs.
Yes.
The elitarian circles, some very old families running this planet for a few thousand years in the background, and it's still the same. And now they want to create chaos on this planet. This is very obvious for me, and we are seeing this step by step. They are creating political situations, creating crisis everywhere, tangent and war areas. America is involved everywhere, and This is by purpose. For me, it's by purpose.
It's purpose built.
No more to say.
No, you're exactly right. It's purpose built.
Yeah.
This machine's purpose built to do exactly what it's doing: destroy the West. And when I say the West, we're talking even the West and the East, i.e., Japan, South Korea, the other semi-free nations. You can't. There's an old adage, and I can't think of who said it, but those who do, it'll come to me. Those who do not demand respect at their borders will get no respect for the people who cross into their borders. And, yep, but the German Democratic Republic, or the DDR, Deutsches Demokratische Republik, you know that, brother. The thing about it is, there's no Honecker for it. There's nobody backing him up like Russia, you know? And when I say Russia, I'm saying the Soviet Union, the old USSR. You know, that was our foe. That's what we understand. And this is not an Operation Gladio. You know, there's a lot of people that haven't seen and been where we've been and seen what we've seen. And the problem is they have this sticky, wet, masturbational fantasy of what a civil war looks like, or what a disintegration of society looks like. And it's like, you don't understand that your family's wrapped up in this shit. And, I mean, that's some
exactly.
serious stuff.
Yeah, James, you're talking about prepping for situations like this. You're talking for years. I know this. And in the very beginning, I was just smiling. So, okay, he's hardly into the topic, and okay. And now I'm at the same point. I'm prepping. I'm hardly prepping. And I just can hardly recommend to everybody out there, no matter where you are sitting on this planet, start preparing yourself for a worst case scenario. Make sure that you have a hideout, that you have some extra food for some weeks or whatever, because when the economical system is crashing, and this will happen first, besides all riots, the riots are coming when the people cannot buy food. It's very simple. A system is running as long as the people have enough food and can do their business and some entertainment. And when this is crashing, and the dollar and the euro are crashing, and then we have a worldwide event, which is just taking down all control, and then is survival of the fittest.
Yes.
Nothing else. And fittest means, in this case, you have to defend yourself with a weapon. And I hardly recommend to organize, if legal or illegal. Sorry to say this, but
no,
you have to defend your family and friends. Yeah, your beloved ones. And I see what happened in the States the last 25 years. They always try to take down your Second Amendment, and I say this is the fucking best amendment in your Constitution.
Right.
Because this makes sure when the shit hits the fan, the people can go and take down the government. They can take it down. And this is what they're afraid of, because you have, like, I don't know, 5 million veterans which are capable of using a weapon, maybe having weapon and ammunition in a room in their house, and waiting for the point where they say, fuck it, stop now. Right. Until here and no more further. Right. This is, and in Germany we have a situation at the moment. You know this, when you are going to have a weapon, it's very, very hard to get a license from the government.
Right.
And at the moment, they take the very minimum, like joking something on Facebook. You make the wrong joke, like this, and the government is taking off your license.
Yes.
And you have to give up your weapon for nothing. Yeah.
Right.
And they just want to make sure that the folks are not capable to fight the authorities. Right. They want to fight with the authorities, but please not with weapons, not on equal eye to eye, not on the same level. They want to. I don't know if you. No, of course, you sure know this. There is a secret European police force created in 2009,
right.
And they are specialized in taking down riots. Yep. And by the way, who was the educator of this? German police officers.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
And then they sent German forces to Italy to take down a riot in Italy, and they sent Italian guys to Germany to take down a riot in Berlin, for example, or in Munich, or in Hamburg, or in Cologne, because the German forces maybe have some sentiments to hit their own people, so they sent them to Spain. So, it's only a Spanish riot. Go down there, hit them hard, take them down.
You're
and this is what I expect.
You've already seen.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. You've already seen some of that in effect because they're afraid of sentiment, and that's why you're seeing like National Guards units from states that are further north being sent down to the southern border of Mexico with us to go after.
Yeah.
And it's the same mentality, you know. Maybe somebody in, let's say, Brownsville, Texas, has an aunt or an uncle that lives across the border, and he's going to be more reluctant to do his job.
They call someone from Alaska, yeah.
Right, yeah, or Ohio or New York, a National Guard unit from there.
Yeah, just to have some distance to minimize this problem. To make a big distance, making sure there's no friends, no family around, that they may not use their weapons against them.
Right, and that's a serious problem. I mean, people don't understand. You know, having done what we've done for a long time. Anyways, it is what it is. We're preaching to the choir on that, but we both understand this whole technique has been organized by our echoing friends, and what they like to do is to make sure that you're not going to have that. And they've already undermined America and Europe by bringing in second and third world people that will never assimilate. They have no plans to assimilate. They will make their own ghetto, and they'll stay in it happily. And the problem with that is now you have a divided country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And I know from very, very reliable sources that the numbers you see in the news is a big lie.
Right.
They take down the real numbers. And a contact of mine, a very high position, and he really has to know this. I cannot go deeper into details, but he said, Uwe, every number you see, multiply with 6 or 8.
Yeah.
And then you have the real numbers, because we have order. We have order to manipulate all the statistics.
Yep.
They have order. And I was really flashed, and I said, hey, don't you have the fucking balls to say no? Are you only taking care of your pension funds?
And they are.
But it looks to me like, it's in the German army or German federal police. There are some good guys still, but not much. It's not enough. And if it's only 10,000 people, they will just lock them up. And they know this. They said, Uwe, we cannot start when we don't have the right people in our back. And at the moment, it looks like, something is changing, but it's all too slow. And we are talking now, it's 2.5 years since Merkel opened the gates. And this is the main problem, like you said. And the German social system is crashing. It's crashing. They pay 1,000 euros per month per people. And now they can bring their families. And they also get free money, free living. They pay the rent.
Yes.
If you are German and you're unemployed and you lose your flat, they don't help you. If you come as a refugee, you get free flat paid by the government. You get 1,000 euros. If you have 3 wives, they pay for 3 wives. Every wife gets extra money. And if you have 7 kids, you get paid every 7 kids.
Yeah.
And in the end, we have the situation. I saw some documents which are real. There are families coming from Syria, because they have no passport. Because when you are from Syria and have no passport, you can go over the borderline in Germany. This is an order from Mrs. Merkel at the moment, We don't refuse them. So you have the situation: 10 persons earning 8,000 to 12,000 euros per month from the state, while the German people, which it's called Hartz IV. It's like an unemployment basic service they pay. It's just you never get this money. This is limited to 750 euros, I guess, monthly. And these guys are getting 8,000 euros. And this is creating the situation we talked about, the riots and the civil unrest. This will blow the country, because the people with low incomes, and we're talking about Germany at the moment is 85 million. I guess 30 million are close to poor or being poor, minimum at the moment. And the rest is just lies. When Mrs. Merkel said, we have such a prosper economics and everybody is earning 3,000 euros, all my friends said, oh, everybody is earning 3,000 euros? Am I the only one who's not earning 3,000 euros here? So in the end, this situation will go to riots, because someone will start and then they say, no, until this point, not further, is my tax money, and now I'm in a bad situation, I'm unemployed, and you don't help me. You say, no, there's no money for you, but the money is going directly to the refugee system. And for me, this is a asylum industry, even backed by the same circles we talked about. The deep state is involved in this.
Yes.
All the politicians are profiting, and new companies are popping up in Germany, organizing asylums for refugees, and they get paid 4,000 euros per bed per month. And I tell you, we talked about, I remember Abu Shaka clan in Berlin, right?
Yeah.
And the Abu Shaka family now, they are buying big houses and creating new refugee homes. And they get paid from the state. This is hilarious. We're talking about millions every month going to a criminal clan which is doing drugs, weapons, and human trafficking for decades. Minimum the last 25 years.
Easily,
Even more. They're all Palestinians from Beirut or whatever. You know better than me, because at this time you were active. So these guys now profiting from the situation, and nobody's doing anything. And I have some friends in the courts and in the justice system in Germany, in Berlin, and they are afraid of doing something against Abu Shaka, because they get to get pressure from Abu Shaka. It's like, if you report my brother to court, we kill your wife and we rape your daughter.
Yeah.
We know where they go to school.
Yeah, and not just
and
that.
So the judges and the state attorneys, they don't do anything. This family is running Berlin. They took over from the Italian Mafia.
Right.
The Italian Mafia is paying to Abu Shaka.
Yeah.
This is
it's crazy.
For me, it's hilarious. Yeah, but it's crazy. It's crazy situation. The borders changed completely in the criminal area, and this is all involved. And when you see the whole picture, like we both do, is a worldwide problem. You just mentioned what Obama tried to do with second and third world people.
Yep.
And the plan does not work. But in Europe, it's working properly. And I know from a friend in Italy that the Italian Navy has ordered not to stop ships coming from North Africa. They have to not control. This is an order from the government.
Well,
so
now,
this is a big plan.
Well, now with the government changing in Italy, that will change. The one thing that I'll tell you that will give you a good guiding light to look at, and a lot of people, like you said, the press is so, well, of course, it's managed by the same people who are in control of everything. But the interesting thing to me is how controlled the press is and what they're not telling people, like in Italy, for, say, Sicily in particular. You actually have the Mafia doing daytime outright hits on the same clan type system that you have in Germany, in Berlin. And this is the reason, because the police are too afraid. They'll be called racist, Nazis, whatever, fascist. And these words hurt Europeans, because of the last war. Whereas in America, shit. I remember even as a military policeman being called a fascist all the time. I didn't give a shit, I was like, whatever, dude. Those words don't mean nothing to me.
James is the same. James is the same for me. I was a Nazi because I said Germany is occupied still, and we are not sovereign, and Mrs. Merkel is a puppet, and I'm officially, they would call me now, there's a word for it, they call it Reichsbürger. The guys which are saying the German Reich is still existing, and it is still existing because we don't have a treaty of peace, and as long as it's not there, the Reich is existing beside the German Federal Republic. This is a creation of the Allies, nothing more.
It's a dual system. Me and you have talked about that, even down in south of the border from us, and even in America. I mean, look at the scientists, Operation Paperclip. The Reich went nowhere. There was never a peace treaty with Nazi Germany. There was not one National Socialist who signed that treaty. It was just Donitz, the commander of the Navy. And so,
Exactly.
So you had no party members do it.
Bormann, this is exactly the point.
So it is a dual run society. That's why Gladio was being run by, how Gladio was run, so do I. I mean, this stuff, when people talk smack, they don't really understand how deep the deep state goes. And
this is the main point. James, this is the main point. The people cannot imagine what is happening out there, and my main phrase is, just because you cannot imagine does not mean that it's not happening out there.
Wilhelm asked about the puppet state. I'm going to explain to him because I don't think he tracked what we were saying. When Uwe says a puppet state, he means, here's exactly what he means. In the Constitution, there was never an actual peace treaty signed, by the Wehrmacht and the National Socialists. So they're really, their Constitution was drawn up by us. This is a fact. This is no joke, folks. It was drawn up by us. We enforce it, and they maintain it, and that's pretty much all they do. But the actual, when he said Reichsbruder, what that means is, a brother of the Reich, because you understand that the Reich is still in existence. That is a big thing that they call people that understand this. And it's just being aware. Okay, so you're aware. Okay, got it. So, anyways, I just wanted to make clarifying statement on that, but I guess he understands it, so we're good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sorry about that, brother. I didn't mean to take your flow away. But carry on with
what No. This is fully okay. No, the main prop is that nobody is able to believe, even the Germans. We are re-educated. We are brainwashed and public nudged since the end of the war. This was a plan from the Allies,
right.
And they did it, and they still do it.
Yeah.
And why is every German chancellor going to United States for a private visit before taking chancellorship?
Right.
This is always happening. Oh, the White House is inviting the upcoming new chancellor candidate in a private travel. Haha.
Yeah.
Because they have to sign the chancellor file. There is a chancellor file, and he says, yes, I agree that America is still the master of the Allied forces from World War II, and we accept the guidance because she is doing nothing without orders. She cannot fucking decide when she's going to the bathroom. She has to ask for it.
The only one, and
this is
the only one I think in history that was close to being autonomous, and it was just simply because he had the will, I think, is Adenauer. From back probably, before you or I were even a gleam in our mother's and father's eye. And but see, we had a different type of human being on the planet then. And I'll tell you this, a lot of people talk shit about millennials, the younger youth now. I've honestly found that I do have faith that the youth, while we see the loudmouths in the colleges and the little Antifa freak shows running their game, right? I honestly have run across young men and women of good moral character who are just normal, and they do see the truth, and they see it in a lot of ways, and in ways even I don't see it sometimes. And so that does give one heartening that I believe it will be fixed. I'm not going to be a pessimist completely. I know we're going to have hardships. We're going to have troubles. This is a fact. Nobody can dissuade me of that fact.
Yeah.
But I do think there is a future for the West. I just worry about how much ground we will cede to that future, if you know what I mean. What countries are we going to surrender to carry on with our own culture and lifestyle? What's your thoughts?
Exactly. This is I fully agree. I fully agree on your opinion and the outlook for the near future. And the result will be a new world which has different influence. And the question is, can we find our place? I'm sure that's why I left Europe. I never go back to Europe, not for living, maybe just for business if possible and necessary, but not more. And I try to find a new way for myself. And I already told you before the interview, I changed a lot in the last year since I went to South America. It's really, for me, surprising. The same with you when I saw you becoming a political person in a way. It was something you were not so interested in before, but suddenly James was very, very, very into the thing. And for me, it was the same. At a specific point, I don't know exactly, maybe 2014, 2015. I think 2015 when all the shit started. And I did more research and had very good sources. I simply know too much. Yes. I knew before, but a lot of stuff I just refused and said, come on, leave me alone with this. And then I said, no, this affects your life, your daily life. And then it did. And I was not in the mood to stay in Germany any longer.
Right. Because
even the governmental institutions, because when you confront them with the reality, they lie you directly in your face. And they say, no, you have the wrong opinion. This is not correct. And we can tax you. I said, no, you cannot tax me.
Right.
You are company.
Right.
But in the end, this was causing trouble, and then I decided, okay, it's time to leave. And my initial plan to live in Spain, I dropped, because
Right.
in Spain the situation is even worse. Looks like a blueprint for the European riot situation for me. And so I said, okay, no, not going to Denia. I had the plan to go to Costa Blanca. You remember this?
Yes.
Already had the place in Denia in 2012. And then I dropped this in 14, 15. And I was looking the world map for a solution which fits my needs. And I found one little nice spot. And hopefully I see you soon.
Oh, yes, you will, my brother. You know that. Hopefully we'll come down with, I'll be able to make it to where Jason, everybody, we can all come down and have a good time. I would tell you this, man.
Yeah, this sounds good.
Like you said, it does make me laugh, because I remember those years. That was around the Berlin meeting, and we were all hanging. And the interesting thing about that is when I was always woke to a point, but I just kept my mouth shut politically. But when I went to Berlin and we got on that into the Bahnhof, going to from Potsdamer Platz to the section of town where the Bird is at in East Germany, the little small underground, and the gypsies came on every exit. And
yeah, they do.
Yeah, and so they came on, and when they came on, man, it was I was like, what the hell are they doing, right? And you're like, dude, this has become normal. And
yeah, it is.
Well, I hope people can still hear us, because my thing's doing the little spinny spin. So if somebody can hear me, please just say yes or no while I'm talking. We'll keep talking. But yeah, so that was the beginning of me becoming completely not just woke, but realizing I had to put my hat in the ring. And that is when you actually saw me get involved in politics. Thank you, Wilhelm. Wilhelm said he can still hear us. Cool. So yeah, man, I mean, you nailed it on the head, but I think you knew that that's where I was going to go with that. I think deep down from our conversations, you knew, where I was going.
But it's one thing it's one thing, James, to have a guessing, and the other thing is, after our meeting in 2013, I started heavily researching, and all the evidence I found was so crushing for my new life, that I said, no, I cannot go on like this.
Right.
And I have to change. And it's not easy, because when you go to a different country, it's one thing to go to Spain within the European Union, but when you are leaving Central Europe and going to South America, like you said, in a second world country, and this is definitely a second world country, on the edge to the first, but it's not a first, it's a second. It's a clear second. And after staying 2 months unplugged, I realized even more how far they are away from first world. What we call normal standard, just in a living or renting situation, they here for them it's luxury. It's a millionaire lifestyle.
Right.
To have a warm, dry home with hot water and all fixed, all fine.
Right.
It's hard to find.
Right.
You find it, but you have to pay for it.
And reliable
everywhere.
Electric, where you can just turn
the prices.
on the switch. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one thing.
No, for this, give me just,
One thing that you've been blessed with, at least, is that you have a nice German community to fall in with, and so you know, and it's normal Germans. It's not like the freak shows you see in Europe, in Germany.
Yep.
So that is a blessing for you.
This is definitely thanks for this, for the thought, because this is something which also flashed me here. All the Germans, and here around are a lot of Germans, really, it's a big community, and we stick together. We help each other because we say, okay, we are all from the same culture. We are from the same country. We are here, and we are all don't agree with what's happening in Europe with Merkel country. Right. And in the end, we're trying to help each other. And this is a new experience, because in Germany, everybody is taking care of their own maximum closest family and friends. And here I met people, and after a few weeks, they became friends.
Hey, a mutual brother of ours is on the chat right now. Yeah. Jermaine Arminius.
Hey.
Yeah, he's on. You know who that is. Say hey. How's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, brother. Good shit. No, I'm glad to have you guys on. I like my comfy little small channel the way it is, because when I see people pop up, I'm like, I know that person. I know that person. And then when I have somebody like you on, oh, you know this person too. Oh, brother.
It's a small world for us. It's a small circle. I appreciate this band of brothers, and yeah, this is in the future for us. It's very important, and I hope not just for us, also for the other people, that they find a way to refocus on what really matters, and this is your own life and inner peace and family and friends, your beloved ones, and not the bullshit with the money and the bills. We are not on this planet to pay bills.
Right.
And sometimes when I talk to my friends in Germany, it's for me, it sounds like going to work, paying bills, watching TV, and paying taxes. And I said, sorry, this is not life. Life is about something else.
You know what?
This is my closing word for today.
Well, you'll love this. Jermaine brought up something you've got to let him know. And he said, we have the Chemtrail probs a lot in my yard anyways. And what were we just talking about?
Yeah.
When before this program even started, Uwe was like, it's so glorious down here. There are no chemtrails. It's nothing but a blue sky and white fluffy clouds. Telling you, Jermaine, get down there with him.
Yeah, okay. I have to agree, or to confess, we have some chemtrails, but it's not directly sprayed here. Okay. So it's from the neighbor countries which signed the treaty. So they with their HARP techniques, they are moving this shit. And especially in the winter times, you see more of it, but it's no directly, and it's not the same like in Europe. And in Germany, in winter, I never see the sun. And here I have 5 of 7 days, blue sky, intensive sun. You get tanned easily. Your body is able to produce vitamin D. And this is very important for the health, but I'm getting too deep because we can talk another hour on this topic.
And we definitely will.
This is so important to stay healthy.
We definitely will. We'll go another, we'll go another
talk
hour.
About stay healthy.
Yeah, I think the next time.
Yeah,
because that's Uwe's business now. Is he's a besides he's always been a positive guy, and honestly, he's just a joy to be around when you're around him physically. But his business is about health stuff, and you know, he can get into that stuff on the next program, and I think you guys will love that. Like I said, he's power of positive thinking. Just look up Uwe's picture.
Yeah, thanks on that. Okay. Yeah, okay, we can do this. I appreciate this really, because natural healing and natural stay healthy and becoming healthy and detoxing is a big topic for me. And I can tell you, I lost 30 kilograms since I left Western Europe. 30 kilograms, and for me, mostly because I just quitted the sugar addiction.
Right.
No more lemonade and Coke bottles and all the other shit. Two reasons. First, I wanted to cut down, and second, it's very, very expensive here. And sometimes the stuff you get here, for example, the chocolate, is not really tasty. So I stopped it. And more healthy food and no bullshit. And suddenly the body becomes more healthy, and the sun is helping also, because your metabolism is detoxing quickly. And I dropped 30 kilograms. For the Americans, it's 65 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot, yeah.
65 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you look at my picture from your Berlin visit, you will see the difference to now, to today when we talk.
Oh yeah, brother. When we were talking today, I noticed you'd lost some weight, but definitely, brother, we will continue this conversation whenever you're plugged back in another time. This is the joy, and like I always tell people, I just let you come into my normal conversations. This is the kind of conversations I have with everybody when you guys aren't hearing me. When I'm talking to my brothers somewhere, this is how we talk, and we haven't edited anything except for last names. That's it. All right, gents, well, and ladies.
Yeah.
You guys have a blessed day. Uwe, do you have any last words before I call this stream kaput?
Nothing to add. Thanks for the time. Thanks for your guidance through this hour, and hope to see and hear soon. Huh?
Ja, all ist in Ordnung, mein Herr. Du haben Sie guten Tag.